There we go. So, welcome to everyone who's able to make it as part of the by-elections. My name is Emily, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Advice and Representation Coordinator here at the Student Union, and I'm also the Deputy Returning Officer for this election. And we've got a really good set of candidates here today, so hopefully we'll see a lot of vibrant discussions. So just a bit of background for the elections. There are 4 different Vice President roles currently being contested and 1 Academic Council role. So just as a quick note, voting will open tomorrow from 10 a.m. and will close on Thursday at 2 p.m. and there will be online voting overnight. But this session is about finding more about your candidates, who you should vote for, and to kind of hear a bit more from them. So it's your chance to find out who they are, why they're running for the roles, and what would they do if they were elected as your vice president or academic council representative. So each candidate will have 1 minute to present their manifesto, tell you what they want to achieve, and to showcase why you should vote for them. They'll then receive some questions about the roles they're running that are both relevant to the role and relevant to the candidate's manifesto. And very important, we also want to hear from you too. So if any students have any questions, feel free to either leave them in the comments or to put your hand up in the call, and we'll try and get to as many of you as we possibly can. So, candidate introductions. As I said, there are 4 vice president roles and 1 academic council. So we've got vice president of societies, vice president of community, vice president of sport, vice president of welfare, and the academic council postgraduate representative. So our Vice President Societies candidate is Nikita Fox. Our VP Community candidate is Ella Webster. Our VP Sports candidate is John Oseasebi. Running for VP Welfare, we have 4 this year. We have Hannah Frodsham, Bernice Kumade, Kayode Ojabeneni, and Blessing Egeberingin. Running for Academic Council, we have Lisa Forsyth, Hesbin Kipshire, and Sylvia Okoampa. Again, Mang. So we have received an apology from Sylvia, who unfortunately has a big presentation today, so she won't be able to make the debate. But you can find all of the candidate manifestos on the Student Union website. I think someone has their mic on. Are you able just to put it on mute, please? Amazing. So without further ado, we'll give each candidate a chance to introduce themselves, introduce their manifesto. I've got my trusty timer here, so if, about the minute mark, if I'll pop in and say that your time is up. So we'll start with Nikita.
Hi guys. This is such a weird way to do this. I'm pretty sure last year it was like an in-person thing. So I'm running for Vice President of Societies. I'm the current Vice President of Societies. I was kind of thrown into the deep end, we'll say, when I came back in September to do my master's. So people put my name forward because they thought I was a good candidate for this, and obviously by elections, so I'd love to run again and stay in the same position, and continue working on like goals that I've already sort of like set and been working towards. So I've been working on sort of like helping newer prospective societies and also societies that like sort of didn't like die, but they kind of like there was no committee running, so they were kind of just on like standby kind of thing. So we've been working with like folk who are interested to try and get these societies back up and running, and we've actually got quite a few new societies recently, whether they're like returning societies or just fresh new societies. And I've been part of
Sorry,
that and helping
Nikita.
people.
I'm just going to drop in there. Sorry, that's your minute. It's a really short amount of time, I know,
Oh
but
my
thank
God, I
you
didn't even
for
realize. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you for introducing yourself,
Thank you.
and welcome to the elections. So next up is Ella.
Wow, you're not wrong. That's a very short minute. Okay, so hi, I'm Ella. I am running for Vice President of Community. I was like Nikita, I was kind of thrown into the deep end, was asked to take up the role when there was nobody that ran for it last year for this upcoming year. I've worked towards many goals, currently working towards shutting down the stigma and the comparison between ourselves and other academic institutions. So I'm working closely with OSA and NESCOL in order to help create society and community events between all institutions to help break that stigma between us all, as I feel like there's a very unfair comparison between everyone. However, I'd love to continue my work, and so that's why when it came up to by-election, I was very happy to continue on with the role, and so fingers crossed that I can. And I'm always willing to help out with anything that anyone comes up to me for. So you're always willing to email me. Um, I'm willing to take on the challenge and help you get into contact with the right people. And I feel like Emily's going to shut me off any second now.
That was very good timing. You just hit that minute mark. Thank you, Ella, and welcome. So next in the room we have Hannah.
Hiya, I'm Hannah. I was asked to take up the VP welfare role. I began working with the union this year for freshers events, and I'm in second year. My main aim, or why I wanted to become VP welfare, was because I was speaking to a lot of people across campus who felt like they were underrepresented in their well-being and their welfare. And I also want to work closer with student initiatives and raise awareness of different initiatives across the uni for well-being and welfare. Because a lot of people have told me, oh, I'm not aware of the union, I'm not aware of what the union does, how can I get help? So I want to help boost those voices and support student-led initiatives.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Hannah, and welcome to the elections. So next on my list we have Bernice. Oh, I think you're on mute, Bernice.
Oh, that's bad. Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay, my name is Bernice, and the reason why I'm coming for this role is because I believe the welfare of students is very important, and I love to serve people. I am currently the course rep for my course, and I'm also a student ambassador. And I do a couple of things on campus. I'm part of the sustainability initiative on campus. That's the Go Green voluntary organization, right? And because I have a couple of things that I believe students need, and I am here to just make it possible because I mean it's just about serving. It's just about making sure that problems that students are facing, we are able to help them to solve those problems. And I believe that some of the things that I'll bring on board is the peer buddy system. Sometimes when we came to campus, it was very difficult to try to transition into it. As an international student, it was hard for me. So I
Sorry,
believe that if I get
Bernice.
the opportunity,
I'm just gonna have to
that's
jump
great.
in there. I
That's
know,
all
minutes
right.
are really not long.
Thank you.
You'll
Thank
have
you
more
so much.
opportunity.
All
So
right.
there's plenty
All
of
right.
opportunity later in the
Okay.
debates to
Okay.
present your
Thank you so
aims
much.
and answer questions. And that goes for all of you. I know it's a really short amount of time, but we've got quite a few questions for you. So we'll give you plenty of opportunities to present yourself and present your aims and go into a wee bit more detail. But thank you, Bernice. It's good to have you on board. So next we have KOD.
Hello, thank you very much. This is the voice of Ojabneni Kayode Ibukun, an aspirant contesting for the position of Vice President Welfare. So apparently, I've actually contested for a lot of positions back in Nigeria. I'm a student representative back at home, and I've got a couple of awards. Representing students is my passion, and that is one of the reasons why I choose to serve as the Vice President. Even here, I am the Vice President for Nigerian Student Society. I am as well the Vice President for in our church because the welfare of international students and all students in general is my priority, and I want to include and make all the students of RGU feel valued and be included in every program they are doing. And I promise to achieve the aim with the help of my president. I'll be working closely with Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much, KOD. It's good to have you here. So next on my list we have Blessing. So Blessing, your sound is still a wee bit funny. Try moving your mic a bit closer, that might help. So we're still not hearing you, Blessing. What we can do is try leaving and coming back again, see if it is just another connection issue, and we'll come back to you at the end of the introductions. Okay. So whilst we're waiting for Blessing to come back, next we have Lisa.
Oh. Hi, I'm Lisa, and I want to represent you in your voice and your views at the Academic Council. So it's my 5th year at RGU, second as SSO, and I've been class rep as well, and I've seen the needs and challenges of students that students face change across the years. Being an SSO and class rep, I've engaged with many students from a diverse range of backgrounds, and I've been able to gather views on such things like student services, Moodle, student handbooks, course construction and assessments in the teaching, and share them in collaborative projects and with staff, peers, and on panels as well. I may not understand or know all the challenges that everyone faces, but I'm here to listen and represent what you think at all times. I'd like to think I'm quite approachable, and I want to make sure that your views are heard and valued. I will strive to use my experience and dedication.
Sorry,
And
Lisa, I'm gonna have to
yeah,
pop
that's
in
fine.
there. I know it sounds so bad interrupting everyone. As I said, there's plenty of opportunities to speak further about
Yeah.
kind of why people should vote for you. But thank you for introducing yourself. And welcome to the debates. So our other candidate we have is Hesbon. Hesbon, can you hear us okay? Yep.
Sorry, let me join in. I want to put on my camera so that you'll be able to see me, so we can
Yeah,
put
if
the
you
other person
could.
when I come in.
So Hesbon, we're just waiting for Blessing to pop back in. So whilst you're getting your camera sorted, do you want to kind of give us an introduction, and then we'll be able to get your camera for the question time.
Oh, perfect. So my name is Esbon, and I am postgraduate student doing IT with cybersecurity, and I would like to represent you guys. I know you'll be able to see me because now I'm like appearing as a ghost, and I would like to represent your views at the council. I'm a leader, and I believe in my qualities of being effective communicator and being a person who listens and present other people's views and accommodate each and every one of us. So I look forward to being your representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Hesbon. It's good to have you here. So we have two candidates. I've got two screens, so I've just seen them pop up. So next we have John. John, do you want to give us an introduction?
Yeah, sorry I was late. I had to go to the hospital and I just finished with my appointment. So forgive me for that.
That's no problem
Um,
at all, as long as you're okay to be here.
yeah, I'm glad to join the group. And can you please brief me with what I missed?
Yeah, of course. So all the candidates are giving a minute introduction to themselves, their manifestos, and why people should vote for them. And then we'll get into some more detailed questions later into the debate. So you have a minute to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is John Osayesibe, a student at RGU currently studying MSc in IT with cybersecurity. For my master's and my undergraduate, I went to K University, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. There, I did sports and exercise science, BSc, and I was the hall entertainment prefect for the famous Katanga Hall, University Hall in K University. And also, I did my FIFA licensing coach in 2021, and I had license in FIFA coaching, license D. I also have a PVG and a disclosure for street sports. So I'm a street sports coach, which we do for the kids in Aberdeen. Yes, I think, yeah, that's who John Osesbe is. And I came out with an X project in 2015, which is nationwide and it's selling out. Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, John. That's good timing. It's a minute on the button. Thank you for introducing yourself and welcome to the elections. And our final candidate introduction for today is Blessing.
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had to switch to my phone because of the audio issue. Anyways, my name is Blessing Donald Iberi, an MSc International Marketing student at RGU. I decided to come out for VP welfare because I care deeply about the students because I, as an international student, have many experiences. I could understand and relate even with the local students. I was able to relate with the stress, with the finance, with the juggling, school, work, everything. And I could see the drain. And I tried to go to find help and everything. I was finding some hassle trying to get the right help that I needed. So I said, if I can't find this, how do I make it more visible? Why not, instead of just complaining, I should bring myself out there and try to represent the students as well. I should bring the help that I believe that I need, that I believe everybody else needs. So I decided to nominate myself and to come for VP welfare because I believe that this would be a wonderful position for me to be able to show some major difference in RGU.
Thank you, Blessing. Again, bang on time with the minute. Welcome to the elections and welcome once again to all the candidates. I can see a bunch of students have just joined, so just to make you aware, we've just done candidate introductions and now we'll be moving on to questions. So these questions are much more specific to the roles that the candidates stand for and to their manifestos. Could I ask that all students keep their mics on mute? And if anyone has any questions, there will be some question time towards the end. And you can either pop your hand up or pop it in the chat. And we'll get to as many of you as we can in the kind of time we've got left. So without further ado, we'll move on. And these are kind of questions for all of our candidates. So I'll pick on each of you in turn. So I'll just start with Lisa, as you're first on my screen. In Academic Council, you'll be representing students at a senior level in the university. What strategies will you use to ensure? Sorry, I've got a bit of feedback. Can everyone just make sure their mics are off? Thank you. I'll repeat the question for you, Lisa. So Academic Council, you'll be representing students at a senior level within the university. What strategies will you use to ensure the voices of the students you represent are heard? And you have a minute, so don't worry too much.
Well, currently I've set up forums within my school as part of an SSO to create safe space for people to talk without lecturers being there and judging, well, so they can feel that they're not being judged or looked down upon. I'd like to continue in a forum basis. I think it's a great place for students to engage freely and openly, but also create questionnaires that can be sent out to gather feedback in that manner for people that don't feel like they're able to attend in person or speak freely at any point in time as well. And perhaps host little coffee mornings like I used to do up in the Sky Bridge in the fifth floor in Surrey Mood for my school as well when I was SSO last year. So creating a wide range of initiatives for people that feel comfortable approaching me and gathering views those particular ways.
Thank you, Lisa. So next we'll move on to Blessing. So mental health is a significant issue experienced by students kind of across the university, and university life can be high pressure. As a candidate for VP, this can touch on any of your focus areas. And what role do you think the Students' Union should be playing in supporting mental health of the students? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I believe that mental health is the most important thing because many students, like you said, struggle with it, and many of them keep it in. They feel like they don't want to expose their vulnerability by making it obvious. So many of them won't want to look for help. So I believe that what the student union needs to do is to bring the help to the students, makes it easier for them to access it, makes it seem casual and easygoing, so they don't feel like they have a problem or an issue. It makes it so natural that it doesn't make them uncomfortable. And I believe that working with the president and the entirety of the student union to bring mental health awareness to the student right in front of them, make them know that this is something that this is a safe space, creating classroom communities, because it always starts from the smaller communities, like the classroom, the person next to you. You never know if the person is struggling or not, and then you can move on to the larger communities. So I believe that bringing it down to the smallest community of the classroom, making it approachable, making it easy to access, that is the best thing that people can do. Making signposting.
Thank, thank you, Blessing. I'm going to have to interrupt you. That's your minute, but that's a really lovely answer. Thank you. And John, in a similar kind of vein, with mental health being such a wide issue amongst students, how do you feel that that's going to be impacted in your role as VP Sport to encourage positive mental health?
Uh, can you hear me?
Yep, we can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. As about if you are talking about mental health, I think I'm even one of them because I've been diagnosed of bipolar, and there are some challenges that we face which needs to be addressed. Um, One, when you look at the Maslow's theory, it says every student should have physical needs, emotional needs, and uh, physical, emotional, and it talks about provision of maybe food and services to the students. So I think there should be a platform or a way that people will have easy access to all these resources. There should be availability of food banks and also places that they can go to for support. And I think RGU has done the best way because they have the inclusion team, which is doing very well. And they also have the
Thank you.
counseling.
Sorry, John, I'm
Okay.
going to have to cut you off there. Thank you for your answer. I know a minute is such a short amount of time, but you guys are doing really, really well.
Okay.
So next question we have is for Ella. So vice presidents, these are part-time voluntary roles. How will you ensure that you can balance academic work, extracurricular jobs, and other life commitments to do the role justice and deliver your aims for those who vote for you?
So I've already been like someone who's very busy in general. I am in the middle of my fourth year, and I know how much it is a task to balance your social life just alone, let alone work life or anything else for any student. Um, so it is a hard thing to do. However, getting to do it is kind of validating, and in order to help people have that like experience of having a community led event is something that pushes me forward in general. And so being surrounded by people who know what it feels like and have that support with you, it helps a lot. And I would like to provide that as well to as much people as I can, if that makes sense. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. That makes sense. Thank you for your answer. And Coyote, same question to you. You know, this is a voluntary role, and you need to ensure kind of balance of academic and extracurriculars. How do you plan to do the VP role justice and deliver on your aims for those who vote for you?
Sorry, please, can you come again with the question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. So as a vice president, these roles are part-time and they're voluntary. How will you ensure that you can balance academic work, extracurricular commitments, jobs, and other parts of life to do the role justice and deliver your aims for those who vote for you? So I'm not too sure if your sound's working. Do you want to kind of mute and unmute and see if that works? No, it's still a wee bit tricky. Are you wearing headphones? That can sometimes mess with the mic. So what I would suggest is oh wait, I can hear you now.
Oh, great. So I disconnected my phone then. So as I said the other time, I've actually participated in representing students in different fields. And coming here, so this semester as well, I've actually put it on myself to like propose an event, which is a symposium event. I think I submitted the proposal to Brian, and I copied the rest SUG, Student Union President, which talks about the welfareism of the students, how we can actually address it, how we can make the students aware of some things and not like follows the negative part. So in regard to the question you asked, I am definitely going to balance it because multitasking, I am a person that actually multitasks. I've actually served as I was serving coming here. Let me leverage on my UK experience. Coming here, I was unit buddy and welcome buddy, sorry, welcome buddy and vice president. And at the same time, I'm still dealing with my course. I actually staged all these things down as a project management student. I need to like work on it. I need to like draft out my time for
Sorry, KOD, I need to hop in there. That's your minute. Thank you for answering the question. There are more to come, so don't worry, you will have another opportunity. So if we move on to the next candidate we have, which is Bernice, and we'll kind of go back to the questions around mental health and how it's such a significant issue for university students. And Bernice, how do you feel that the role of VP Welfare and Wellbeing will play a part within supporting students with their mental health?
Okay, hi, thank you very much for the question. One thing about mental health is that most of the time, usually, the people that need the help are not able to seek for the help due to many reasons. Sometimes they are not bold enough to seek the help. Sometimes they are shy. Sometimes probably they don't know where to seek the help. Even though RGU has done a lot trying to advocate for mental health and then showing us where to go when we need the help, but I believe that we can be able to take the help to them because usually students they don't have the information, right? So we try to get it to them through the classes and then through the SSOs. I'm going to coordinate with them and try to advocate more on mental health so that they know we have this help available, because I believe that going to them to present the help to them is going to be good and beneficial to them. Yeah, thank you very much.
That's perfect, Bernice. Thank you. So we've only got a few more candidates. So next I can see is Hannah. So Hannah, students are regularly provided with, surveys, questionnaires, polls, and we often find that that leads to survey fatigue and kind of poor and accurate response rate. It's particularly around if there's a welfare problem that we need to gather feedback on how to solve. So if you're elective, what methods do you plan to use to gather feedback without adding to this kind of survey fatigue?
Yeah, I think going through SSOs and student reps would be a better way of doing it. Instead of doing a survey, maybe getting us like people to suggest their ideas and what their problems are. I've spoken to a lot of students and initiatives and how they feel about their welfare further down the uni, and they've been happy enough to just give their opinion because they often don't information doesn't often reach that far down. So going through class reps and classrooms rather than representatives would be a better way of doing it. So you're going direct to the pupil, direct to the student.
It's perfect, Hannah. Thank you. Excuse the noise, that's the paper shredder. So we just have a couple more of you. So Nikita, a question around the part-time role. So as you know, it is part-time and you've had some kind of experience already, how would you be able to balance your academic work, extracurricular jobs, and anything else life throws at you to be able to deliver your role with justice and to deliver your aims for your voters?
So the role is kind of like it does state on the website. It's a minimum of like 3 hours a week. So I'll have like bi-weekly meetings with sort of Brian, Connor, those kind of people who work in the union towards societies. And we'll arrange these meetings within the 2 week period so that I can plan around them. So obviously deadlines and stuff coming up, you know when they're coming up. You can work towards that. It's good to balance it when there's a routine and a structure. And then we plan for what we're going to talk about in these meetings, like, oh, we need to speak about finances for societies, or this society's been proposed. People want to see more of this. Like, we can sort of go over all of that. And then, especially for like forums and stuff as well, like, they're all sort of calendared. Everything's like sort of you can work around it. And the folk in the student union are also really flexible around if there's time I can't make it. They're quite understanding of deadlines and stuff. As long as you're still doing like some sort of work in the background, you're not just completely, like not doing any of your duties.
I'm gonna have to hop in. That was really good timing. You just hit the minute there. Thank you, Nikita. And last but not least, we have Hesbon. So Hesbon, for Academic Council, you are going to be at one of the highest levels in the university. What strategies will you use to ensure that the voices of students you represent are heard? I think you're on mute, Hesbon. I can see you chatting.
Sorry for that. Yeah. Yes, I was saying thank you so much for that. I believe being a leader means you represent other people, and communicating their views is causing something to happen into an action. So I believe in myself to represent others, communicate, and also create a link between the staff and also the students so that their views on whatever they're affecting them could be heard effectively, and there will be responses between each and every student. Communication will always be effective when there is a feedback. And as one of my colleagues was talking about doing surveys to reach out to express themselves, those are the mechanisms we'll be able to employ each and every moment so that students and the staff can have effective communication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hesbon. So we're kind of at just over the halfway point. So do we have any kind of questions or comments from anyone in the room? Any students want to jump in with any questions? KOD, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Blessing.
So if we do
I
the
have a
candidate
question.
Q&A at the end, so if we do questions kind of based off of what we've covered so far, you'll get a chance to ask your candidates kind of towards the end because it may get answered in the next question.
Yeah, I have a question for Blessing.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask Blessing, how can she bring awareness for the mental health? She spoke when you ask her the question, she says they are going to like promote awareness for mental health. So how is she like trying to like bring in awareness for mental health?
Okay, Blessing, I'll give you a minute as normal to answer that.
Okay, thank you. So, Kayode, thank you for your question. That is a very good question. So, I came up with this idea whereby, like I said, community starts from the small, from the classrooms. And I believe that if we can communicate with every class rep, and if we can create societies within that community so that even the smallest person doesn't feel alone, because there's so many people who go to class, they just leave school, they leave and they don't communicate, they don't know how to bridge that gap between their peers. So if we as the student union, if I get elected and I can bring that idea to fruition, then I intend to work with the class reps so that we can start building that community from the small, to make peer groups within classrooms so that the group chats where everyone is involved, where they can communicate, they can share messages directly from student union. So you can't say, oh, you didn't come across it, you didn't see it. The messages that are sent directly to student leaders are put on those group chats that are within every class. So the students get to see that messages directly from someone they trust, not someone they don't know or someone they don't have close contact with. So it
Thank
brings
you.
familiarity. Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Blessing. Sorry, I'm going to have to jump in and interrupt just to kind of make sure we've got time for other questions. That's a really good answer. And thanks, KOD, for asking. Does anyone else have any other questions? Any other students want to ask anything of our
Yes,
candidates?
yes,
Yeah?
yes. I have a question for
Mhm.
all the candidates. When I came, I've noticed that before you can join the sporting activities, that like the S club, you have to pay a fee before you join. And one person spoke about advocacy. I think Benis spoke about advocacy. So I don't know, is there a way that she's going to advocate for the prices to be reduced, or if possibly they can make it free for everyone to get him or herself involved? Because some students have talent, but because of the fees and the prices, they are not able to join. So
Okay.
how is she going to advocate?
Bernice, I can give you a minute to answer that question. Just before you do, John, that is also quite a big question on terms of sports club prices, and that's something that can kind of be handled later down the line by the sports president. But Bernice, I'll let you give you the space to answer that, and then we'll move on with some other questions.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe that the welfare of students is very important, and this sport is one of the, the avenues where students can be able to be free to, distress all of the, the attention and the stress that we go through. Now, what I think is that, like my colleagues said, so we have to begin from the classes, right? So we gather all the ideas, we gather all the issues that we have. If students present this issue, and we know that a lot of students have this, then we are going to like take it and then pick it up on board and take it to the higher authorities to be able to help us with it. Because I believe that the voice of the people should be a voice that should be listened to. And if we have the numbers, then there is a cause for concern. And I believe that the leadership is going to have to listen to us and want to help us, because we are all students and we don't have that financial capabilities to access some of these things. And so I believe that if we bring it to them, they can be able to help us. Yes.
Sorry, Bernice, I knew
Thank
you were at the
you.
end of your sentence, so that you finished. Thank you for answering. So guys, we have time for one more question just now before we move on to very specific ones about your manifestos. So KOD, you got your hand up? You're on mute. KOD, you're on mute. You just need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. So I wanted to answer the question John asked, but then when Bernice was answering the question, I think he didn't answer the question. So the question is, I'm directing the question back to Bernice, that how are you thinking of dealing with that issue? That is the question. How do you think you can actually solve the problem? Because personally, I am
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys one more minute to answer this. Bernice, I'll let you answer KOD, and then we really need to move on, okay?
Okay. Okay. So personally, as a vice president, if I am the voice of the people. So after I get, like I initially said, after I get the collection of all of these complaints, I am going to represent the students. I go to the leaders in connection with my other vice presidents as well, and then the president. And then we are going to present this officially to the board. And we have to, sit and collaborate on how best we can be able to help the student. Because I think that on our own, we cannot, really take any drastic step. So everything is going to go through a process. So first we find the problem, and then as representatives of the people, we are going to take that issue, and then we are going to take it, to the board for the assistance. Yes, basically representing the students, and so.
So thank
That's
you,
exactly
Bernice.
what I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. So KOD, I know you probably have some more you want to ask on that. Due to time and the fact that other candidates, we've got some questions for them. If there's anything after the debate that you want to discuss, send me an email and we'll be able to sort it, okay? But for now, we'll move on so that we'll be able to hear from everybody else. So we've now read through all of your manifestos, and as I say, we have some very specific questions for each of you. So we're going to start with Nikita. So the union has currently 42 active societies with over 1,350 memberships, and this is growing, every single year. Given your current understanding of societies and their different needs, what are some of the strategies that you will use to support and develop new and existing societies to ensure they do continue to be successful over the years?
Okay, thank you. So like I've said, I've been working with societies to try and bring back some societies that may have retired, or new societies. So we sort of listen to what people want. But it's also ensuring that like committee get their proper training. So like they know what to do, they know how to deal with the society, and also that they're engaging with their members to sort of create that community where people want to take over and like kind of like ensure longevity of the societies, where like because a lot of students that are in sort of higher positions, committee positions, will be like third, fourth years. And when they graduate, that's why we see a decline in societies. So ensuring that you get sort of the younger society like members involved as well. Just keeping people engaged, keeping them like in the loop, like sort of training them from the get-go to oh, sorry, training them from the get-go to know how society works, know like how they could take over, know how they could get involved, that sort of thing.
That's perfect, Nikita. Thank you. You guys are smashing it with the timing. You're bang on minutes. I'm impressed. So our next question is for Ella. And your manifesto highlights the harsh competition and unhealthy rivalry between academic institutions in Aberdeen, and you aim to start building healthy relationships between them. So, with the foundation work that's already been achieved this semester, how do you see yourself developing this over the rest of the academic year?
Hi, so my contacts and outset on this call, we've been working towards putting together a joint event at the end of the semester, next semester, just so that we can have like that opportunity to just bond as students in Aberdeen in general. We're also hoping to work together in promoting each other in general, because that is one thing that I've noticed. We do have a lot of people going around who say like, oh, Aberdeen's better, RGU's better, Nestle's better than both. That's just not the case. We're all as good as each other. And so it's really just pushing that message across for the next semester. We're still working together. We've got meetings coming up in order to continue this, and hopefully even just like a big event at the end of this school year where we can all get together and just celebrate being students. That is the end goal in our minds just now.
That's brilliant, Ella. Thank you. That was a really good answer. So we're just going to kind of keep on going through. So our next candidate is John. So we understand that not everyone has the budget or the time to commit to sports club memberships. In this case, what steps will you take to ensure all students at the university still have the opportunity to take part in some form of physical activity, competitive or otherwise, during their time at RGU?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Okay, what I will do is one, I know RG is a charitable institution. So one, we will work on donations, how to get donations, how to get people to donate to the university. And also, because the population is very high, to how to get the students into being included is to do a scouting. Maybe we have to scout the students so that we know the best ones to get themselves, so that we can win competitions and award for the school, which will argue will be on top of the world. That's what I will do.
That's perfect, John. Thank you so much. So our next candidate is Coyote. So this question's for you. The union runs and supports lots of existing welfare projects, so things like the breakfast and supper clubs, emergency food parcels, and Go Green specifically running Cane Shop. So what welfare initiatives do you plan to introduce?
Okay, thank you very much. Number one, you actually asked, I actually said it the other time that I actually proposed a welfare program already, which is sensitizing students against social vices, like calling them to attention about social vices awareness, not to do this, not to take some kind of things, and how to like properly behave in case of their future. I think the project is under review and they're actually working on it. So the students union told me they're actually going to go and get back to me, and we actually proposed it, which is February. So even before now, I always have the students in mind every day. And as a socialized person, I've asked them about the question John asked. This is going to be my number two. What I'm going to work on, I'm going to like propose it because I know the vice president and the president himself is going to actually knows better than I do, and he has the utmost priority in everything. So I'm going to propose that for international students, if you can actually like do probably their okay, let's say.
Sorry, Coyote, I'm gonna have to stop you there. That's your minute. So if we have time at the end, we can come back to this if anyone wants to ask specifically what it is that you're kind of proposing to do as your second proposal alongside your welfare. But we'll kind of move on to our next candidate. So Hannah, this one's for you. So kind of welfare concerns, mental, physical, and lifestyle are faced by all students across the university, and each student in each school has a very unique way of approaching this. How will you ensure each diverse group of students within the university will be informed of welfare initiatives and that their concerns are heard?
Thanks for the question. So I've got experience being as a student being further down the university, and I know that the information does not always trickle down. And I've spoken to people who've told me, they don't know anything about what's going on with welfare in the uni, and they don't have any connections to the union besides me. And the way that I would like to fix sort of the lack of communication across the university is to, more posters around a greater understanding of what everyone's issues are. So, like people in the chat right now are saying that there's 2 canteens that have been shut down since the beginning of the semester, and 2 buildings of students no longer have access to hot food. So I've spoken to student initiatives trying to fix this. I've gone around and spoken to students in person, and I've also spoken to them online, asking for their opinions. I do that throughout the uni. I get in touch with student reps and SSOs. I just get the information directly to these people and find a way to distribute it easier.
That's perfect, Hannah. Thank you. And again, bang on a minute. Really, it's like you guys are timing yourselves. But that's a really good answer. Thank you so much. So we still have a couple more candidate questions. So Bernice, in your manifesto, you identified stress and isolation can hinder success for students. In the role as Vice President of Welfare, how will you tackle these issues to support students?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So I spoke about this because I realized that when I came to the campus, I faced these issues, because as an international student, it's a new environment. It's a new, a new course. I am actually transitioning. And I realized that all these are gaps. I needed a job, I needed to focus and study, and I had no idea what to do, when I landed on campus. So I believe that if I initiate the peer buddy system, right? So in this one, before the students actually come on campus at all, I'm going to give the opportunity to students to volunteer, all right, to have to mentor other people who are coming, other prospective students. So each student is going to have like 3 people that they can be able to come to. Okay, hey, I need assistance with, a job. I need assistance with my classes. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? This is for the new students. But for the old students, what I'm going to do is actually, going to them, actually seeking,
Sorry,
what are the issues
Bernice.
that we can be able to address and all of
I'm
that.
gonna have
Okay.
to jump
Thank you.
in there.
All
Thank
right.
you. Sorry, I know you were just getting to the end of your sentence. No, that was really good. Thank you so much for kind of elaborating on that. You guys are being really good bearing with us as well. So we have a couple more to go. So this one is for Blessing. The role of Vice President Welfare supports a number of different welfare initiatives within the university. How will you integrate your priority aims into this while supporting other welfare projects?
Thank you. So, like you said, welfare is a very broad aspect whereby it's not just your mental health, it's your academics, it's your finance, it's your sexual health, it's all of this. It's you, the person, everything that goes on in your head. So, how do we, the VPs of welfare, how are we going to support the students? How are we going to help them come out of their shell? How are we going to help them guide them through all the problems that you're facing to help them enjoy their academic life, to help them enjoy university? Because it's not just about coming to school. Like, yeah, that is the major thing, getting being good in your studies and everything. But there's a whole essential life out there that you need to properly balance to be able to survive properly in the real world. So that's where we come in. We come in with the trying to make the, even if it's even a tiny bit, little bit easier, to make life easier for the students. That is the plan for the VPs. So if I get elected, my plan is to work with the
Sorry,
person.
Blessing. I'm going to jump in there. So that's your minute, but you've given quite a lot of detail. So thank you so much. for answering the question. So now we kind of jump into our academic council candidates. So Lisa, how will you use your kind of extensive experience within RGU to shape discussions within academic council to ensure that you do accurately represent the needs of students?
I've represented SPAFs and the students within SPAFs for 2 years now, but I have been president of a sports club previously to that. So I've been gathering other students from other schools' voices before, but I need to make sure that I go and reach the other schools as well. So across the Greys, across to the annex for the other half of Grays, into the business school and the law school as well, because everyone has such a diverse range of needs and challenges that they face and need to feel that everybody is being heard and represented. Because I don't know everything. I need to go out and speak to the students directly to find out what they need and what they need me to do for them. Sorry, I don't know if that properly answers the question.
No, no, you're fine. That's perfect. That's definitely answered the question. And last but not least, husband, you've been very patient. So you identify that fair assessment practices in your manifesto is a key area that you want to look at. How will you ensure that your role on academic council will accurately represent all postgraduate student assessment practices? I think you're on mute again.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So once again, communication and transparency is something that is critical, and now we are in a season of, I can call stress, because we are approaching our exams, theses, and all that. So creating that place of improving communication and transparency between the staff and the students is very critical. And then create a moment too where the postgraduate students can be able to have that session of balancing their studies at the same time they're supposed to work, they're supposed to have something to do. So create that support system for them as well in partnership with other colleagues here, where we'll allow them to really have those sessions of understanding the burnout and even moments to work out their time as well adequately. Thank you.
Thank you, husband. So that is the end of all the questions that we have had submitted. So we still have a minute. So is there anyone in the room who has any other questions that they'd like to either ask the candidates or candidates that they'd like to ask each other? No? It always happens if you do find that there is anything, you can always give. Okay, Odie, thank you. Yeah, go for it. So you have a minute. So I think you're on mute.
Okay, thank you. I will not be asking questions this time around. So the
Okay.
thing is, I just want to like, it's just like an observation. Like the question I asked, uh, is it Berlin?
So
Berlin.
the question for Bernice about sports. Mm-hmm.
Question. She hasn't even answered the question on how to like propose, but then the sport directors has actually tried, which is John. But then I'm actually thinking of if the school can actually include, if it is £70 budget, include it to our fees as an international student to be even to be part of the sports club. Because coming down here, we think all those money are too big when we are here to convert that kind of money from naira to like pounds. We think it's too big, but if we actually paid it, or we know we are going to pay this money, like it should be included as part of our school fee. I think it's going to be very better and for them to like assess any kind of sport activities here. And that is the suggestion. If we are
Okay.
actually looking on it. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you for bringing that up. What we can do is we can take a note of that, and any feedback that comes back from the debate and indeed the entire elections, we can gather together. And if there's anything that we can action at the end, then we can get in touch. So yeah, that's the end of the debate. It just remains for me to say a massive thank you to everyone who's taken their time, especially their lunchtime, to come today, to candidates and the students. It has been a fantastic debate. So just a reminder that voting opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. There'll be online voting between 7 p.m., 7 a.m., and then the voting polls will close at 2 p.m. on Thursday. And the results will be announced at Student Voice on Friday. So make sure you're all in attendance to hear the results. Good luck to you all this week. It's going to be a very stressful week. It'll be a really, really fun week. If there's any issues or any questions, just get in touch with one of us and we'll make sure that you have as much fun as possible. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys.